We start in the Gaza Strip, where an Israeli strike before dawn hit a crowded area for Palestinians displaced by the conflict. The explosion set tents on fire and buried people alive. The Health Ministry in Gaza says at least 19 people have been killed, while emergency workers at the scene say the true toll could be far higher. The strike hit Mawasi, that is an area of Gaza that Israel has designated a safe zone for Palestinians. In the wake of the attack today, the Israeli army said it was targeting Hamas militants. Well, with me now is Angela Diffley, our foreign editor. Angela, can you tell us a bit about what both sides are saying happened here?
Yes, importantly, when this story broke earlier this morning, there were reports of around 40 people being killed and 60 injured. Those figures have been revised downwards to 19 deaths. That is important because the figures really matter here. This area was designated a safe zone by the Israelis. They maintain that some key Hamas operatives were embedded using people in this camp as human shields, embedding themselves among civilians, and that they targeted and got those people. Under international law, and Israel maintains that it adheres to international law, under international law, you are allowed to target the enemy, even if it is within a civilian area, provided that you can prove that you have taken necessary precautions. Israel says that it used precise munitions, that it used aerial surveillance and some other measures. And the other important fact is that any civilian casualties must be proportionate. And that is where these figures will really matter. Now, this sort of thing is only decided much later on when these incidents are brought before international courts. Was the number of civilian casualties can that be justified under international law, under armed conflict? That is to be seen. Hamas say they were not embedded in this area. It should be said, in the past, Hamas have used civilian structures and have embedded themselves in civilian areas. That has been proved, and there is some evidence that they are doing it again. They say they were not in this case, and they say that if you look at the damage, those huge craters in the camp, it is out of all proportion to the targets that the Israelis said they were trying to hit, and that they say the Israelis are lying and that their narrative should be debunked. This is all about the public relations war, the public information war between Israel and Hamas since this thing started, because it really matters what the outside world thinks. Because as more and more people outside this area look at what is going on and make decisions, they are persuading their governments to act, and in some cases to cut or stop sales of arms to Israel because they are unhappy with how the Israelis are operating.
And Angela, look, a couple of months ago, there was some kind of hope that a truce deal was close at hand between Hamas and Israel. Now, though, it feels rather far away, doesn't it?
Yeah, there are reports that Joe Biden is trying to make one last-ditch attempt to get negotiators together. We will see. In May, we were told they were edging closer, and since then, on both sides, it appears that there are new conditions. Netanyahu, on the Israeli side, has introduced this idea of the Philadelphia corridor, which is a strip which on the border between Gaza and Egypt. He says that if Israel withdraws from that, then weapons will continue to be smuggled. The hostages might be smuggled out. He says it's vital. His military say it isn't important to keep that the Israeli military could withdraw and could go back in if necessary. Netanyahu maintains that there would be an international outcry. Opponents of Netanyahu say this is simply a ruse. He doesn't want a deal, because if there's a ceasefire, the far right will leave his coalition, he will be toppled. A majority of Israelis want a deal because they want the hostages back. On the Palestinian side, Yahya Sinwar appears to be hiding in the tunnels. No one polls the Palestinian people. It is not a democracy. We do not know what they feel about how much more they can endure of this. And on his side, he has changed his demands and wants a bigger number of prisoners in Israeli jails to be released. So both sides have toughened their position. And in the middle of all that, Gazan people are suffering.
Angela Diffley, thank you.